Hi everyone, it's Wednesday morning. It's hump day, which means tomorrow is Thrash It Out Thursday. Woohoo! Guys, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video. It felt a little bit indulgent to me to just talk about, how I see energy. But I sense that it helped quite a few people understand a little bit about how energy works in general, from my perspective. So today, as I adjust the camera, there we go. Today, as promised, I'm going to talk about the energy in your body and what actually happens. Again, from my perspective and from the experience I've had working with clients, how these energetic patterns get established and how they then impact you moving forward through your life. So, I've just had breakfast. So, excuse me. Okay, so I just want to establish now that I'm not going to go into things to do with, past life or future lives or anything like that. But I do want to establish, again, that my belief system is that we are energetic beings in human form. So on that basis, energy never actually dies. Okay, it just changes and morphs. So, to my way of thinking, you come into this existence as an energetic being, okay? Your first taste of this life is conception. The first spark of life in this form begins at conception. And even though there is not a brain cognitive thought process that happens at that stage, there is an energetic impact that occurs. And that, again, in my belief system, is established from the moment of conception. So, in a lot of work that I do that is kinesiology related, there are modalities and modes in kinesiology that can address past life issue or tap into what may have been going on previously. And it's, again, from an energetic perspective, it does actually come up quite a lot. So at conception is the beginning of that energetic spark for this lifetime. From that point on, right through the pregnancy period, there is an energetic impact. Now, again, before I go any further, I just want to establish that this is not, what I'm about to say is not about parent bashing, okay? It's not about that at all right? I don't want people to throw their arms up and go, oh, and I did this when I was pregnant, oh, and I did this, and oh, I raised my child this way. No. I just want you guys to, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, we get caught up on right and wrong all the time. And we get told that things are right and wrong all the time. And that's not what I'm about, okay? I'm not about saying that something is right or wrong. I'm purely coming at you today from the perspective of how I interpret energy. So throughout pregnancy, there is an energetic impact. So things that happen to the mother during the pregnancy actually have an energetic impact on the embryo. I've experienced that myself, and I've experienced that with clients that I've worked with. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding of that, when I say I've experienced it myself, I was not actually a planned child. And, it was late 60s. I was born 1969. And it was around the time when the pill had first been introduced, or in the initial stages. It was also the time of thalidomide. My mum got pregnant with me while she was on the pill. And there was fear and panic about, what this child would turn out like. So that fear and panic it permeates, and it permeated to me. There was also this sort of sense of guilt, fear mainly, of, oh my God, what is going to come out? So, and then there was an incident when I was born where my mother actually hemorrhaged, and again, an energetic imprint. So I've actually worked through that. It's taken me quite a few years to work through that and actually pinpoint what occurred. And a lot of that happened many, many years ago, but a lot of it also happened most recently in the last probably 3 years of establishing what that was about and how it impacted my energetic patterns moving forward. So that's what I mean when I say that what happens from the point of conception through the pregnancy period can have an energetic impact. Then we have birth. I mean, who thought of that? Who thought that would be the best way to come into the world? I've never given birth, but I've seen it. And man, that's traumatic. However, I believe that there is an understanding that that is the rite of passage of coming into human form. So there is an understanding that that process will be XYZ. Now, if anything happens outside of XYZ, then that can have an energetic impact. As we grow as children and, toddlers, we start learning. But again, from my experience and the events that my clients have drawn back from tend to be from about the age of 3 to 5. And whether that's because that's when cognitive thought begins, it could well be, and memories kind of start. It's also when, it is cognitive thought, and it's a little bit of cognitive programming. So you do something, and you learn what the rules are. Am I allowed to do this, yes or no? And you learn what your boundaries are. That establishes a pattern. So that establishes a pattern of your behaviour moving forward. We then have, again, what I have witnessed from about, usually around the age of 8 till about 10 to 12, I have found that there is another incident along similar lines that establishes a behaviour pattern that was set up in those initial cognitive years. Now, when I'm talking about a behaviour that is set up, I'm talking about things like a sense of guilt, a sense of abandonment, a sense of not being worthy, the negative aspects of what could be driving your behaviour moving forward. Unfortunately, don't know why this happens. Unfortunately, we hold on to the negative, or most people hold on to the negative much more readily than they will hold on to the positive. Whether that's a wiring thing for, the survival mode, which it could well be, or it's something else, I couldn't tell you. What then happens, somewhere from sort of mid-teens or early teens to and through the teen years, there is usually another incident that cements that belief process, that belief system of, the guilt or the abandonment or whatever else. It's an energetic replay, if you like, of what happened in early stages, then in early childhood. And it's almost like that third incident cements the idea. And it's from that point on that I have witnessed that the behaviour pattern is established and the energetic pattern is established. So I just want to clarify the difference between what I'm talking about as, a behavioural pattern and an energetic pattern. In many, many ways, fighting the energetic pattern can be quite difficult. You can deal with behavioural issues through all sorts of different therapies, but fighting that energetic footprint can be a little bit more difficult. So generally, you know, it's 3 key incidences that establish your pattern moving forward into adulthood. And each of those 3 incidences kind of cements the idea of this is how I'm supposed to be. Now, if that's a negative aspect, then that will continue replaying until you can identify it, flip it, and look at it for what it really is. Because don't forget that even though we have cognitive thought at that age, we don't have necessarily the what do you call it? The thought processes to logisticize. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's one of my favourites. To logisticize what has actually occurred and remove the emotional fog from it. Hi, Christy. To remove the emotional fog from it. So we don't actually have that ability from a young age. We start developing that as we get older. So what then tends to happen as adults, and this I have seen time and again, and it never ceases to amaze me. That was Hugo. How we replay an energetic pattern throughout our lives. I had someone that I was dealing with a few weeks ago, and she was telling me about an incident that happened to her when she was in her early 40s. And as we delved deeper and deeper and deeper into that, we established that she was actually repeating the energetic pattern, virtually move for move, of what she had started when she was 25. The parallels were mind-blowing. And it just reinforced to me that unless we clear the energy of where this behavior was established, that block pattern of energetic drive continues and continues repeating until it comes to a resolution, until it comes to a point of resolution. So when I'm talking about these energetic blocks, I guess that the best way that I can explain it, so I've spoken about meridians and the meridian lines that run through your body, and they are the basis of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And it's what I have an affinity with because it's what I identified with when I first became intuitive. And it makes complete sense to me. So you have these meridians that run through your body. There are, blockages that build up, and you can virtually every single time bring it right back down to a specific acupoint and deal with that. So when I'm talking about these blocks, if I could liken it to anything, it would be, if you imagine like, a river or a stream running, not like high water, like a low river, and water flows over, a boulder in the river. So the water flows over here. This side's smooth. Where the water continues to flow, it's smooth. There's a nice clean flow going over it. On the other side of it, where the water is not necessarily a clean, smooth skimming over, you'll get a mossy growth. You'll get growth on the side that is not continually being cleansed. So when I'm talking about energetic blocks, that's how I see them. That's how I sort of see it. So you have an injury, let's call it, whether it be an emotional or a physical injury that occurs on a part of your body. Unless you clear what's going on through that, then the energy that flows over continues to do this. It flows over, it's on the clean side, and on that side, it's kind of stunted. It's not clean. There's a continual growth of the moss, I guess. Once we clear that block, it ends up being like this. So there is a smooth energetic flow that goes through it. Pardon me. And as these things go, it's never about just one point. It then goes to the next point that might be blocked, and so on and so on. The interesting thing that I always find is that quite often I'll be working with someone. They go, no, it's my neck. Yeah, I know, but it's starting in your foot. Okay, just let me work on your foot, and I'll be working on the foot and pressing points on the foot or on the toes or whatever else, and they go, my neck feels better, but it's my neck that hurts. Yeah, I know that. Because the symptoms, the physical symptoms that show up are the end result of what's happened before. It's as simple as that. So the physical symptom of, let's say, a sore neck doesn't start by being a sore neck. It starts from something else. So I guess that when we're talking about how does that tie in with your body and how energy runs through your body, yes, you may have, oh, this is sore and this is sore and that's sore. But why? You can put a physical parameter around that, and by all means do, but you're dealing with a symptom. Okay, it's like taking Panadol for a headache rather than drinking more water. Well, that's the easiest example I can use. And that's what we're dealing with when we're dealing with the symptoms of an energetic block. What we also look at with these energetic blocks is, or what I really love looking at, is the 5-element system of traditional Chinese medicine. Now, what that does is it's a grouping of 5 aspects of life, personality, whatever you want to call it. And they are linked to different organs in the body, and they all have an emotion attached. Now, when I first explain that to people, it's like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. What do you mean? What do you mean? And I've spoken about this before with the 5-element system. If you're experiencing issues with your lungs, we're looking at things to do with grief and sadness. If you're, having liver issues, it's about anger. If you're having gallbladder issues, it's about feeling stuck. Now, whenever I refer to the 5-element system when I'm dealing with someone, it's usually bang on. And they kind of can't believe that it's so accurate. So that's another energetic perspective, right? So it's not about dealing with the symptom. It's about dealing with the underlying cause. And that's where I come from an energetic perspective. So what I want to just touch on now is vibrational frequency. Everything has a vibrational frequency. Organic matter has a vibrational frequency. And if you kind of think about almost even I'm just looking at Andre's keyboard over there. Even non-organic things have a vibrational frequency. So when we're looking at clearing blocks or balancing out blocks, there are lots of different tools that people can use for themselves to achieve a sense of balance. Again, keeping in mind that everything has a vibrational frequency. So I'm going to just touch on some of the things that could potentially be used. Okay, so there's crystals, there's essential oils, there is colour. Colour, huge vibrational frequency in colour. See, all of that. Sound obviously has a vibrational frequency. The thing that I always find interesting about that is, yeah, of course we all understand that sound has a vibrational frequency, but what's not so commonly understood is that our body resonates at different frequencies and can tap into the vibrational frequency of the colour or of the sound or of the healing properties of crystal or of the oils. So the way I believe that works is if you utilise a crystal or a sound or something like that, it vibrates at this level. If you're vibrating down here, what's actually happening is that this vibrates here. It's encouraging you to bring your vibration up to wherever it is vibrating. Okay? So when we are talking about the vibrational frequencies and the healing aspect of different items, that's how they work. So there's 2 ways that they work. They can bring you up to wherever their vibration is, or they can tap into what your existing vibration is and they can help balance it and they can help smooth it out. So what's the difference between balancing and clearing? Good question, Adele. How are you going to explain that one? when we're talking about balancing, it's, to my mind, it's a much longer process to get the results. When you're talking about clearing, you're getting through everything at a much faster speed. So yes, you can balance by all means, and then once you have reached a point of balance, you utilize these tools to keep you at that level of balance. When we're talking about clearing and actually, turning this into this, balance isn't actually required, because the balance has occurred by removing the energetic block and clearing it and establishing what pattern drove it to start with. Once that happens, I guarantee my clients, I do, I guarantee my clients when we're working together that they won't experience that again. We're not supposed to give guarantees. I do. Because I know that once an issue has been cleared and properly cleared, it's not going to come back. It simply can't come back if it's properly cleared. So that's the difference between balancing and clearing, okay? By all means, you utilize all the tools at your disposal to reach a point of balance. But when you're serious about it, you got to clear that shit. You got to get that stuff out. And it could take one session, it could take 3 sessions, it could take whoever knows. I can generally establish how many times I need to see someone to know how long it's going to take to clear something. Again, keeping in mind that what we're doing is clearing it completely so that you can then move on without this baggage, right, on your back that you've got to carry and you've been carrying your entire life. You get to drop that backpack. You get to drop it. You get to open it up, check the contents. Do I need it? Oh, no, I don't need it. This big bag of rocks that you've been carrying around. Do I really need a bag of rocks? I don't think so. I don't think so. And you get to decide to leave it behind. And that clears it. So, that's my take on how energy works in your body. If anyone has any questions, right, I'm going to ask you to post any questions in the comments of this video. Because this is not a simple topic. It's not a simple concept to get your head around if you haven't experienced it. So if you have any questions, please, 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 put them in the comments after this video. And I'm going to be out for a little bit. And then if anyone does have any questions, I'll come back and answer them in a couple of hours. Because I hope that when I explain these things to you guys, again, from my perspective and from how I work, it gives you a sense of understanding of what might be going on in your own life. So, I think that's it for me. Tomorrow, I will talk more about what happens once major energetic blocks are cleared, because the benefits are tenfold. Like you can't even seriously, you can't even quantify the benefits. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So guys, have a fabulous, fabulous Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thrash It Out Thursday. So don't forget, if you hear something today that really pumps you, that gets your juices flowing, keep it in mind to post it tomorrow. Thanks for joining, Christy. And thanks to everyone who's watching this afterwards. Mwah! Much, much love. Much, 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 much love to every single one of you. Have a great day. Bye.